Can I, yes, can I give an example, not example, but have you unpack it?
Absolutely.
Okay, this has been on my mind for quite a bit. I'm part of a dream group where we do dream interpretation, and every once in a while we'll have a potluck at the person's house who hosts it. And so I was at the potluck dinner at night, and the talk always goes to politics. And I can feel my stomach knot up, and then I begin to get angry inside, and I want them to stop, but my voice is like blocked. I don't know how to say it to them. So this past time I did what I've done in the past, was I went into the kitchen and started washing some dishes, but I never owned it. So how would I unpack that for myself?
So right there is a perfect opportunity. So there's an irritation, it's an invitation, and you're in relationship with this person or these people that go into this political conversation. So let's look at what is your thought about that? When they are talking politics, you're believing that is blank.
I'm believing that I don't want to talk about it because I don't know enough about it.
Okay.
And they basically are for the same person I am.
Okay.
But their anger, they have a lot of anger around what is happening.
So you got to look at it in layers.
Okay.
So one, you don't feel like you know enough about it.
That's one.
So when you don't feel that you know enough about something, what are you believing about yourself? What does that say about yourself?
Well, it's not being enough, not being smart enough, not being articulate.
So those are barriers. Those are barriers to the truth of who you are.
Okay.
Because if you went into stillness, you could say, okay, intuition, kick in.
Yeah.
I'm entitled to miracles. You begin to really work this stuff. I deserve to have something here to say. I want to participate in this conversation. So you stay quiet. The ego begins to tell you you're not enough. I don't have something to contribute. I'm not knowledgeable enough. You're listening to that as your truth.
It went on full.
Immediately.
And I kept wanting to just listen and be open, but this was triggering.
But that voice was triggered because we allowed that voice to be our truth. So we have to learn to say, no, I don't want to listen to what you have to say. I want to go somewhere deeper. The other thing that got activated, you said it was that they were angry.
Right, and I disowned my anger. I was not allowed to be angry as a kid.
Okay, so these people are giving you the opportunity to reclaim two parts of yourself.
Yeah.
One, that you are enough, that you are smart enough, that you're capable enough, whatever those enoughness are that got activated, and also your ability to recognize that anger is an energy that has to move. They're expressing theirs while you're suppressing yours.
Right.
So they're giving you the opportunity to see that as long as you're suppressing anything about yourself, you're denying, you're creating a barrier to the truth of who you are. Now, it may very well be that politics may not even interest you. I don't know. But let's say politics didn't even interest you.
Yes.
You could still lovingly sit there, hear what they have to say, and never be engaged.
Right.
But everything is a lesson God would have me learn. So what has just happened is that there's an irritation that's an invitation for you to see two things. There's probably more. But if you just took those two, now you can create a holy relationship within yourself. Go from having a hole to feeling wholeness. And when we begin to realize that our wholeness is an activation of our self-worth, you would be willing to say, you know what, I'm worthy enough to recognize that I don't know that much about politics. So it's okay that I'm not going to make myself wrong because I don't know. Then the next question would be, and this is a question for a yes or no answer, do you want to learn more?
No.
Okay. Okay. That's a very beautiful.
It's all happening for the good reason.
So there's another thing right there. If you really trust that it's happening for a good reason, why would you not trust that you have nothing to say about it?
I do, but I judge myself. Well, I don't. I judge myself for feeling that maybe others see it as a cop-out,
Okay.
even though I believe it's true.
So you're needing to defend yourself.
Right.
So in your defenselessness, your safety lies.
Yes.
I'm going to go do the dishes because I'm not interested in this conversation. I'm not going to learn anything about it.
Yeah.
And if you're angry, good for you. If this is how you want to experience your time, you can just walk out of the room and say, good for you people who are getting all agitated and activated. But if it activates you, it's an opportunity for you to see something that's active in you that keeps you from owning your holiness, which then you can't see the holiness in them.
Yes, and what it also activated is since then I haven't been back to Dream Group in quite a few months, and there's been reasons, I've things to go to, but there's also this feeling, do I really want to go back to Dream Group? And if I do, I feel like I'm running away.
So you have to go in stillness, go in
Yes.
and listen for
do.
guidance.
I really do.
Because guidance may be that you're complete with this group.
That feels like
And
that
guidance
too.
may tell you that you are running away
Yeah.
from the group, but this is only found when we go into the stillness.
Yes.
But there has to be a willingness to not get caught up with the thoughts in our mind, because all of those beliefs in our head are barriers to what God would like for you to know that is true about you. So we've got to take inventory of all those thoughts. All that programming is where the work is. The Course in Miracles does not ask anybody to give up a kidney or to pull your toenails out, or to take your blood. None of that. All the work is at the level of mind. We're training our mind. We're training ourselves to observe the mind and begin to pick the beliefs that are true, that align with God, and which is, these people have different opinions about these political groups and they're getting all agitated. Good for them. They're experiencing what they want to experience. And you would be at peace neutral if it wasn't right or wrong, if they weren't being good or bad.
Right.
And in that neutral, peaceful place, you find your peace because now you are in a state of recognition that we're all unique. And they're expressing their uniqueness in that way. And we don't need to analyze, is that coming from their ego or not? That's none of our business.
Right.
Because if you are perceiving it in the others, because you're not acknowledging in yourself. But that's a great example.
Thank you.
For sharing that. The Course is leading us all to self-love. Eventually, that is what is where we're all headed, is to a place of self-love. Let me read another part here. In paragraph 11, if you go down, same page where we were on before, 339 if you have the third edition. Would you not go through fear to love? That's a very powerful question. If you have fear, wouldn't you want to go through your fears to get to love? Isn't love worth it? Isn't truth worth it, that you would go through your illusions to get to it? Here's what the ego does to us. We feel fear, we run away. We feel fear, we attack. But we don't work through the fear. We don't question the fear. We don't bring it into our conscious awareness. What is this thought that I'm having that is activating this fear? So, would you not go through fear to love? For such the journey seems to be. Love calls, but hate would have you stay. We have an internal hate that we have to acknowledge. When you operate in fear, there is self-loathing happening. Internally, if we believe there's something wrong with us, we are at a very subconscious level not liking ourselves. The Course is really clear. That is hate. What is not love is hate. So let me read that again. Love calls, but hate would have you stay. Hear not the call of hate, and see no fantasies, for your completion lies in truth and nowhere else. To move across this bridge from my ego's identity and my self-righteousness, I've got to face my fears, which means I've got to bring up my thoughts, like Joy, you just did. To admit in front of a group that I was afraid to speak my truth. I was afraid to, be angry when I was a child. I was afraid that I didn't know enough. I didn't want to look, dumb. I didn't want to look bad. I didn't want to look inadequate. When we begin to say, this is what I am afraid of, and then you take that and you put it and you look at what God says is true. When you begin to look at what joy is all about, what love is all about, what our holiness is about, we're all equals. There's not one person at that party that's better or lesser than she is. She's entitled to give and receive love. She can give it to them, and she will receive the enjoyment of their presence. If she stays in a place where she knows her wholeness, then her wholeness can overflow. Then your cup can runneth over. In doing that, you stay present in the now moment. You're not operating from the past, but you did go to the past. You went to the past when, as a child, you felt not enough, or as a child, you couldn't be angry. But in the present moment, you go, oh, I'm feeling I can't be angry. And then you can be with yourself, love yourself enough to say, what does this remind me of? Oh, it reminds me of when I was a little kid that ran in front of the parents watching the television, and they got angry, but they told me I couldn't be angry. You go back to that experience, and then you say that happened in the past. That is in my recorder. At what age did that happen? And you begin to realize, oh, that happened at 5. Well, is it really true that I can't be angry today? I'm an adult. I can be angry if I want to, but I don't have to be angry and lash out on other people. I can just let the energy of anger rise and express. And you let that anger move, because everything that we have suppressed when we were children, those emotions that are stuck inside of us are the things that get triggered when we are around other people. It triggers our emotions, it triggers our reaction. It's because we have a lot of unprocessed emotions that were not released. We didn't give ourselves permission to be who we are, emotional beings. We are energy in motion. So of course there's going to be emotion. When we unpack the past emotions, then we can experience ourselves in neutral, in the present moment. We have anger. It's never lashed out at anybody else. It's anger that we go, oh yeah, I'm having anger. We know it's not going to solve anything to spew that on anybody else. So we just stay, you know what, I'm not going to come to the party right now. I'm pretty angry about whatever it is. I'm just going to stay here and be with my anger. I love myself enough to acknowledge that anger is moving through me. Obviously, that takes quite a level of spiritual maturity, that you are advanced in your relationship with yourself. You're developing a holy relationship with yourself to not make yourself wrong for anything that moves. And eventually, when things move from the past, you stay empty. You're empty of past things, which means now you are full of the love that you actually are. Because all of that baggage, all of that density, all of that negativity that's been suppressed, once it moves, you are flowing. You're literally flowing with life. You get to be the love that you're meant to be in motion, in expressing. And to be able to be in the present moment, you've got to be unconditional. No conditions for loving myself and loving you, because that is how we experience love and joy. And when we're in that state of love and joy, we're in partnership with everybody. People talking about politics, you're in partnership with them. You guys talk about politics, I'm going to go wash the dishes. It's a perfect partnership. Everybody has a role to play, and nobody's wrong for the roles that they're playing. But if we go to the kitchen because we can't be in the living room, and then we're in the kitchen mad that they're not helping us do the dishes, well, do we want them in the kitchen helping us with the dishes? They're going to come in and talk about politics. So you're in a partnership that allows for everybody to be where they are, and everything is operating as it should. Why? Because we trust. We trust something greater, because we are on a spiritual evolution. Now our spirit is evolving into greater levels of acceptance. Oh, I can accept people playing or talking about politics at a dream event. Yeah, I can accept people not helping me do the dishes. And now our ability to be tolerant expands exponentially when we can be present to what's happening to ourselves and not need other people to come and fix us or rescue us or feel bad because of what we're doing. And that's because you value your soul. You value your soul, and you give everybody freedom, because love frees us to be ourselves. And that is a beautiful process, that even something that might seem so trivial, like upset at a conversation about politics, is profound in the layers of beliefs that we have that have been programmed since childhood that keep us from loving ourselves fully, because it's a form of hate to not express yourself lovingly. because that story, there's something wrong with me, is operating in the background. I want to now take you to paragraph 13 on that same page. If special relationships of any kind would hinder God's completion, can they have any value to you? What would interfere with God must interfere with you. So we don't want to have any kind of specialness, any kind of upsets that we don't bring up to the surface, so that we can make sure that we have nothing that hinders our connection with God, our acceptance of our wholeness, because we are part of what is the wholeness of God. So we want to be welcoming any irritation as an invitation. Why? Because everything is a lesson God would have me learn.